Speaking in groups can feel intimidating, even for experienced professionals. Many capable leaders remain silent simply because they doubt their confidence in front of groups. Hello, folks, and welcome to Coaching Talks. I'm Richard Fontanie, and I will be your host today. If you are new to this podcast, welcome. And if you're returning, a heartfelt welcome back. Now, before we begin, I invite you to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And thank you for doing so. Now, at its core, leadership reflects the integration of how we think, act, and live across business, work, and life. In the workplace, performance leadership is about aligning people, purpose, and processes to consistently achieve thoughtful results. It emanates from within and manifests itself outward. Now, to expand the conversation further, on Mondays, our discussions turn to the Listening Heart series, which focuses on spiritual leadership in our daily lives. And on Fridays, we turn our attention to adaptive leadership in the digital world. Now, what gives me the right to talk about these things? Well, it really follows my life experiences. From 6 years in a seminary under the guidance of Benedictine monks, to 18 years in government at the executive level, to owning my own consulting and training business for over 45 years, and finally to transitioning my work into the digital world in the past several years. And although this podcast focuses on traditional workplace, remember, we are all called to lead in some way or another, and whether we have a formal leadership position or not. Today, we'll explore how to build confidence for speaking in groups and why this skill matters deeply to performance leadership. Confidence in communication influences almost every area of leadership. Leaders speak during meetings, presentation, coaching sessions, difficult conversations, moments of organizational change. And when communication confidence weakens, influence often weakens as well. The encouraging news is that confidence is not reserved for naturally outgoing people. Communication confidence is a skill developed through preparation, repetition, mindset, and experience. Now, I've worked with managers who feared standing in front of even small teams. Some worried they would forget their words. Others feared criticism or embarrassment. And still others believed they simply were not strong speakers. And yet over time, many of those same individuals became calm and capable communicators. Their transformation did not happen overnight. It happened through intentional leadership practices and repeated opportunities to grow. Now, as is my practice, I want to leave you with 5 leadership strategies. And today, the strategies relate to making presentations. The first leadership strategy is preparation with purpose. Confident speakers rarely rely entirely on improvisation. They prepare key ideas, anticipate questions, and organize their thoughts clearly. Preparation reduces uncertainty, and reducing uncertainty lowers anxiety. Now, here's a professional tip to boost your confidence. Instead of memorizing entire speeches, focus on understanding your message. Then identify 3 key points, and create simple examples, and practice speaking in a conversational style. But make sure you're writing out your script. You can read it or put it on a teleprompter if that helps you. However, don't forget to practice before presenting it. In the workplace, preparation may involve rehearsing opening remarks before a meeting. It may involve reviewing likely questions before presenting to a senior leadership team. It may involve practicing transitions so that ideas flow clearly and calmly. Preparation also communicates respect. When leaders prepare carefully, audiences recognize professionalism and clarity. The second leadership strategy is managing internal dialogue. Now, many people lose confidence before speaking, even before they begin. Negative thoughts quietly take control. Thoughts such as, I will fail, people will judge me, or I'm not qualified, create emotional tension long before the presentation starts. Performance leadership requires awareness of internal thinking patterns. And strong leaders learn to challenge those limiting beliefs. Instead of saying, I'm terrible at public speaking, try saying, I am learning to become more confident each time I speak. And that small mental shift significantly changes emotional energy. Now, here's another professional tip to boost your confidence. If you carry a deep anxiety about staff meetings, here's what you can do. Stop imagining worst case scenarios. Start replacing assumptions with practical preparation and positive self talk. Leadership often begins internally before it appears externally. Our thinking shapes our communications, decisions, and emotional reactions. Now, the third leadership strategy is practicing gradually. Many people expect confidence to appear instantly or magically. Unfortunately, confidence usually grows progressively through repeated experiences. So start small, contribute one thoughtful idea during meeting, volunteer to introduce a guest speaker, lead a short project update, and practice speaking during team discussions. These small experiences create familiarity, and familiarity reduces fear. Now, here's a story about a young employee who avoided speaking during departmental meetings. Her manager encouraged her to present weekly updates lasting only 2 minutes. At first, she felt nervous and uncomfortable. But after several months, she became one of the strongest communicators on the team. Consistent exposure strengthened her confidence naturally. Now, this principle also applies beyond the workplace. Parents speaking during community events, entrepreneurs recording online videos just like this one, and students participating in classroom discussions all build communication confidence through practice. I learned many years ago that I need to practice, practice, and practice some more. In fact, I often go outside and talk to the wind. And this way I find my own rhythm. The fourth leadership strategy is to focus on connection rather than perfection. Perfectionism creates enormous pressure. Many people become so focused on avoiding mistakes that they stop communicating naturally. Audiences rarely expect perfection, and most people respond more positively to authenticity, clarity, and sincerity. A professional tip for you, when you lose your place, here it is. If you accidentally lose your place during a presentation, whether the group is 100 people or a small team, instead of panicking, smile, pause briefly, and can you continue speaking calmly. You can say such things as, "Oops, I lost my place," or "Just a minute, I need to catch up with myself." Your audience will appreciate your composure because it feels authentic and human. Confident communication does not require flawless delivery. It requires presence, honesty, and a sense of connection. Performance leadership depends heavily on trust. People trust leaders who communicate genuinely and consistently. Now, the fifth leadership strategy, I got an itch here. The fifth leadership strategy is controlling physical energy. Developing confidence in communication involves both mental and physical awareness. When people feel nervous, breathing often becomes shallow and rapid. Our speech speeds up, posture tightens up. Energy becomes scattered. But simple physical adjustments can dramatically improve confidence. Now, here's another professional tip to boost your confidence. Slowing down breathing helps calm the nervous system. Standing upright improves the presence and vocal strength, as is sitting upright. Think of a string tied from the ceiling running all the way down to your sternum. Visualizing this helps you stand up straight or sit up straight. Intentional pauses create clarity and reduce rushing. Before important presentations, many experienced speakers take several slow breaths and mentally refocus. Now, these small habits create steadiness under pressure. One operations manager developed a simple routine before every presentation. He arrived early, walked calmly through the room, reviewed his opening remarks, and practiced steady breathing for several minutes. And that routine helped him remain composed and focused. So, what do you think of these 5 strategies? Are they helpful? Can you implement them for your next presentation? Let me know in the comments. I do want to hear from you. Now, why is this topic essential to performance leadership? Well, it's quite simple. Because leadership depends on communication. Organizations require leaders who can clearly articulate direction, encourage collaboration, resolve conflict, and inspire action. Employees often judge leadership credibly by communicating behavior. And clear communication creates alignment. Confusing communication creates frustration and uncertainty. Speaking with confidence also influences career growth. And people who communicate effectively are often viewed as more prepared, capable, and trustworthy. Now, this does not mean that a loud voice is always best. Rather, a thoughtful, calm, authentic communicator often has the greatest long-term influence. Workplace culture improves when leaders communicate openly and respectfully. Meetings become more productive, teams collaborate more effectively, and problems are addressed early rather than avoided. Now, here's a story about a department leader whose quiet communication style caused confusion among employees. He rarely spoke during meetings because he lacked confidence. And over time, misinformation spread across the team. Eventually, he recognized that silence itself was creating leadership problems. He sought some coaching, and through coaching and gradual practice, he learned to communicate more consistently and clearly. Leadership communication also affects life outside the workplace. Families benefit from honest conversations, communities benefit from thoughtful dialogue, and friendships strengthen through respectful communication and listening. So if you struggle with confidence during speaking, just remember this: confidence is not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more comfortable expressing your authentic voice. You do not need to sound exactly like another person. You simply need the willingness, prepare, practice, and courage to keep going. Pardon me. Start where you are. Speak more than you did yesterday. Volunteer for an opportunity you would normally avoid. Growth happens through repeated action. Now, as we close today, reflect on this question: what conversation, presentation, or meeting have you been avoiding because of fear? And perhaps now is the time to prepare for it rather than avoid it. Leadership growth usually begins just outside our comfort zone. Your voice may encourage someone today who desperately needs clarity, reassurance, or wisdom, confidence, and direction. Now, bring this podcast into your next conversation, meeting, or coaching moment. Remember, leadership is practiced one interaction at a time, and sustainable excellence is built in rhythms and not marathons. Now, if this conversation resonated with you, please subscribe, like, and refer to a friend. Thank you for doing so. Now, I'm Richard Fontanie, signing off. And join me next week when our conversation turns to another leadership topic: how to discover breakthrough solutions where everybody wins. I hope you can join us. Until then, bye now.